Rico, it's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to get things started. Why
You
don't
only
you
say
get me
that so
started?
that you're the first thing on the tile, don't you? You're now the first thing that everyone sees.
Oh no, it's that Wazik again.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet Marzipan in video form. We are here for one of our Planet Marzipan Meets episodes. I'm here with my usual partner in crime, Faye,
Good evening.
and we welcome the award-winning photographer, Anne-Marie Forker.
Hello, hello,
Hi, Anne-Marie. Welcome to Planet
hello.
Marzipan. Thanks for
Thanks for
coming on
having
the
me on.
podcast. No, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
We've
Um,
been looking forward to this one.
absolutely. And you will see why we are not just in audio form this week very shortly. You're going to see some of Anne-Marie's fantastic work that she's done across the years. Um, but we always ask people, the first question we ask them, Anne-Marie, is how did you first get into Marillion?
Oh gosh, going back some time now. I first got into Marillion without knowing they were Marillion, which sounds a bit strange. In 1989, I heard the track Easter. And back then, before the internet, before I had CDs, I used to record the top 40 or anything I liked off the radio onto cassette tapes. But of course, back then, you knew to stop early before they started talking. So I'd stopped the track early before the DJ had said who the band were. And so when I re-listened to it, I didn't know, but I absolutely loved this song. And I would listen to it on my way to school in Northern Ireland. Um, and loved it. The lyrics felt very personal, and H's voice, the guitar solo, it was just beautiful. But I never knew who had sang it or who had performed it. But jump forward many years, and in 2012, which was many years later, I bumped into an uncle who had fantastic taste in music and who I've dedicated the book to, um, my uncle Desi. And I asked him, are there any bands that you think I might like or any albums I should check out? And he said, I think you'll like Marbles by Marillion, a band called Marillion, check it out. So I did, and I rediscovered that childhood voice again. It was, I don't want to be overstated, but it was pretty magical
Yeah.
to find that voice again. And then, of course, that album is amazing. And find out everything else they've done, and that ever I've been hooked ever since.
When was the first time you saw them live?
2014, in London at the Forum.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I saw H solo the following year in Oslo. And I took some pictures. I was near the front for that, and I just happened to take some pictures for that, just in my seat. And H loved them. I sent them to Lucy, and that was what got the relationship really going in terms of photography. And then Lucy gave me some more photo passes and ended up asking me to do the Royal Albert Hall in 2017.
But
Um,
I mean, were you into photography already? Were you taking photos for fun?
yeah, for fun. I discovered photography very late in life. I'm not taught or anything. Um, I got my first photo pass in 2012. That was Morton Harket in Oslo solo.
Oh wow.
And then I did bits and pieces after that, but nothing regular. It must have been 5 to 10 gigs a year at the most. I didn't start shooting regularly until 2017.
Yeah, but you've got
But yeah,
such a
I did.
natural, it's such a natural eye
Yeah.
for getting the exact right picture at the right time and stuff like that.
Oh,
It's
thank
it's
you.
especially for somebody who's never been, through art college or through photography like that. It's just a natural gift that you've got.
Thank you.
It's
You,
Yeah,
you
the
must have heard
feeling
that
of the music
before.
helps a lot. I'm sorry.
You must have heard that before that you've got an incredibly natural talent.
I hear it, but I don't. It's kind of hard to recognize myself, but some of the feedback I've had from people is amazing. It took me a while before I thought, well, maybe I should start listening to them and actually try to do more of this. And I ended up leaving my full-time legal publishing job I had in 2000. I left in 2014. I had a legal publishing career before that, but I wanted more time for photography, so I went fully freelance, and that's over 10 years ago now.
And so I mean, you've got numerous sort of magazine covers and record sleeves as well now. What was your first sleeve? Was it All One Tonight?
Yeah, yeah, that's the one I'm most proud of, and
It's a
that is
cracking
probably
cover.
my favorite gig.
Yeah, it was a
Were you?
magical night, wasn't it? But
It all
that
was.
image is fantastic on the sleeve.
Thank
It's
you.
so good. It captures everything.
Thank you. I couldn't believe I have a lot to thank Lucy for that she had, because the Royal Albert Hall limit the amount of photographers that you're allowed. They're very strict with that, more than other venues. So when she asked me would I do that, I was thrilled. It's my favorite venue. Um, and then of course the band's performance and Jens' lighting. I have a lot to thank Jens for too. Absolute genius with the lighting.
Did
It was
you
definitely
were you?
catching lightning in a bottle, wasn't it? Really?
It was,
Yeah.
yeah. Were you in there in the afternoon for the sound check and the run throughs then?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I got to wear the little helmets and everything. Yeah. I think Tim, as part of his film or documentary that he wanted to do, uh, wanted a photo shoot with the band in the venue just to be filmed. And it was the day before actually that Lucy asked, "Oh, could you do this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll come early." And having just given my full-time career up a couple of years before that, I was very glad because if I was still in that, I would have had to check with the boss, is it okay for tomorrow? So it was nice to have the freedom just say, yeah, I can be there early and get to do that. So I saw the film crew's briefing and sat there with a little helmet that was on. For safety reasons, we all had to wear those for a while. It was funny. Yeah, but the venue is amazing.
Was that your first time at the Royal Albert Hall?
No, I'd been there before for concerts, David Gilmour a few times, Björk. But it was my first time being there when it was empty, apart from crew and having all access. That was special, getting to walk around backstage and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a different experience in a way.
Can I ask you about, do you know when you've got the shot? Can you tell when you've got the shot, or is it only when you're reviewing the shots that you feel it?
I've I usually feel it, but there are also times when you've got something you don't realize later on. You might have missed a little detail that you've managed to capture, but usually for the very best ones, I feel it. One example is the last UK Marillion weekend. H was performing Care, and I usually go with the feeling of the music instead of following rules. I think it's important to learn the rules, but that's in order to break them. So I usually go with the feeling of the music, and I found myself standing in front of the mic stand. So it's like this in front of H. That's a terrible place to stand. The rules for concert photography, you don't do that because you've got the mic. It looks like you're snorting the mic or eating the mic. It's just you don't stand there right in front of them. But there was something that was going on with the music that just told me, stay there, stay there. Just I could just feel something was going to happen, particularly with the way H was expressing himself. Um, but just as I was about to say, no, you're wrong and move, H just lifted his head like that and pointed straight at the camera. And that's that shot where then he has lights on the screen behind him coming out. And I knew before I saw it on the computer later, I knew that was something.
How does, because you're obviously concentrating on the shots and the angle and the camera. How does that impact on what you're getting from the music and the gig?
Oh, good question. You don't get totally lost in the music for the whole concert like you can just watching it. I've learned to allow myself moments to just, especially in the longer tracks, I can have a minute or two where I just soak in the music. But yeah, you have to learn to feel it without totally losing your focus. You still have to focus on the visuals. So the music is reduced a little bit, but I still prefer getting 90% of the music and combining it with the visual. Because the problem is if I watch a gig without, I'll just see a lot of photos and think, oh, I can't take that moment. I can't take that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's happened. Yeah, I much prefer seeing Marillion with my camera.
And is it different when you're photographing an act that you don't know the music of so well?
Yes, I think so. Often try and check out the music before, but Marillion's music I feel more than other bands. So maybe with the exception of the Beatles, where they'd be up there with that. So Marillion is different, very different. But yeah, if I don't know the music, you're relying more on lucky moments, I suppose,
Yeah.
and hope that they express themselves the right way. Whereas Marillion, I know they will.
I mean, you obviously do know the Beatles music, but the photo that you took of Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr,
At the O2,
yeah,
yeah, that was a cracker, wasn't it?
it was amazing. And you told the
Oh, thank
story on
you.
Lucy's po live stream. Could you just tell us the story again? Because it's just a remarkable shot to get in those circumstances.
Which one was it of him and Ringo? Was it
It's
when they're looking at each other
yes,
or?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, that one I took with a little camera, a little non-professional camera from my seat. Because I didn't apply for a photo pass or anything for that one. I just went as a Beatles fan. And yeah, I just photographed that moment. Usually with concert photographers, if you're doing press and not for the band, you only get the first three songs.
Yeah.
And Ringo came on near the end because you're not going to put Ringo on early. How do you follow that? So he was on near the end. So I got the chance to actually photograph that moment. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I'd seen him in the venue. He was sitting at the side of the O2. Lots of heads had started to turn, so I was wondering what they were looking at. And there was Ringo Starr sitting at the start of the concert. He'd just taken a seat. I'm thinking, no, he's not. Is he? Really? And then later in the concert, a Rolling Stone appeared. I thought, oh, it's not going to be Ringo. It's good. It was still amazing, a Beatle and a Rolling Stone, but I thought, no, that's the special guest. Ringo's just here to watch. Because I think Ringo had had an album launch the week before in London or something. And
Yeah, it was his new country album, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I've not heard it. Country music's not my thing, although I do have an open mind, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Ringo and Country doesn't make me rush to hear it either, but yeah.
No. No. And then later in the gig they rolled out this extra drum kit to the front just very quickly. And oh, you're kidding. Oh my God, it's actually going to happen. And Ringo came on and they did Sergeant Pepper together. And I thought that would be it. And then they launched into Helter Skelter. And that was amazing. Especially as to think back to when the Helter Skelter was recorded, the Beatles weren't touring that.
No, they weren't.
Then they'd
No.
stopped touring. So to see them do that together was really special.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And really special to see them together, especially considering that they're getting on a bit now, and the chances of them performing
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It was
They're both in their 80s now. I think it wasn't Ringo the oldest Beatle, so he's even older than Paul, I think. And Paul's in his 80s. Yeah.
But the shots that you got from that gig with just a basic camera are just fantastic, and I
Oh,
think that
thank you.
that shows the skill and the that you got. It really does. It highlights it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I actually did have a photo pass for Paul McCartney back in 2014, but they put us at the very back of the venue, and I was only starting out and hadn't got a really long lens. So yeah, I didn't get much that time. Yeah, they put us way at the back by the sound desk in a huge arena, so that was too far away when you don't have the gear. But
Yeah. You built up your relationship with the band Marillion and the management team and Lucy across the years. You've actually been on the tour bus with them, haven't you?
Yeah, what an honor. Yeah.
Can you tell us
Yeah, I
anything
did.
about that?
Well, I was expecting to go on there's two buses, and I was fully expecting to go on the crew bus. But when I arrived in Holland, uh, they said, or Lucy said, actually, you're going to be on the band bus. And I thought, what, really? Um, yeah, that was fun, but it's actually all very civilized. And I went to bed after a gig. I just went straight to bed. Um, got onto the bus before the band were ready to get onto the bus, and I was in bed with the curtains closed before they got on. So yeah, when I say curtains, it's just a little
Yeah,
yeah divide. But yeah, it was fun. Mark is, I'm sure you know, Mark's a bit of a joker. He's hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah, and the bus driver Charlie is quite a character too. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun, but at the same time, it was really hard to sleep. Have you ever slept above an engine all night
No,
and
I
going
really
round
wouldn't.
roundabouts?
I'm such a light sleeper. I really wouldn't fancy that at all.
And also, if
Yeah.
you've got like you're sleeping in the same kind of confined space of five blokes, I think you'd probably want to get to sleep first before everybody starts snoring their heads off.
That was one of the reasons I went, I went first to make sure I was in.
Yeah, yeah, plugs in, everything off.
Yeah.
Plus, they probably didn't want a lady taking over the one bathroom on board. So I got all my face washed and all that done into bed before they needed the space. Because there was just one toilet for everyone. So that yeah, but the noise was a bit of a shock. That really was. Uh one tip I would say, if you ever find yourself in one, don't choose the bottom of the bunks. Choose the top because I was on the bottom
Oh,
thinking, oh, it'll be fine. I don't want to have to climb up and climb down. But of course, what I didn't realize is that means you're closer to the engine.
yeah.
So you hear it. I had earplugs in and all sort, but you still hear it.
Still an incredible adventure, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
Um,
you've won a few awards as well, haven't you? You won an award for your picture of you two at the Sphere.
yes, although yeah, that was last year and then this year as well. Last year, that one, I mean, I entered on a whim thinking, probably won't go anywhere, but yeah, you can't, you have to be in it to win it. Um, so I entered and wasn't expecting to hear anything, and then I found out that it was made it to the final, and then so I went to the awards and it won. I couldn't believe it. It won the People's Choice as well, and that was for 2024. And then earlier this year they decided to combine all 10 years of the Event Photography Awards. I'd only heard of them last year and call it the best ever. And so they put all the photos, I think it was over 10,000 pictures or something from 10 years of entries from all types of events, weddings, royal family events, sport events, all sorts of things into this best ever. And that won the People's Choice as well.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mad.
Is it worth
I'm
okay,
sure I have some Marillion fans to thank for that. That's
is it worth having a look on your website now and showing a couple of these pictures that we're talking about? So if we're doing it
sure,
visual, we might as well let people have a butchers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
sure. All right, here we go,
They'll be,
share.
they'll be sick of mine and John's mug already.
Can you see now?
Yeah, yeah. So, and this is your website, which is
Yes. It's
forkaphotos.com. So, if anybody gets a chance to check it out, it's got some absolutely amazing, amazing shots on there, and
the Marillion.
you can well
This
lose
bit,
yourself for hours.
the Marillion section is here. That's got many years of pictures, and there are downloads as well. Yeah, and thank you to everyone who has got one. It really helps support I appreciate it. And my first award was actually for Marillion, not U2. Uh, Back in 2021, during the pandemic, this was definitely a light in the dark. That won the concert category in the International Photography Awards. I entered something it was a series of 10 pictures called Stories from the Stage, and it was shots, including some of my favorites of Marillion, taken from the back of the stage. And that won the concerts category, and that was the very first award and still the most important one to me, actually. But yeah, anyway, the U2 shot was this one. So that won this year, the People's Choice one. That was Las Vegas, which I only heard about this gig because Lucy had posted about it. I do like U2. I love U2 actually, but I
How
didn't
was
know about
how was the gig in the Sphere?
it. Was absolutely spectacular, but if you want to get close to the band,
Forget it.
not good.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
see how small the stage
yeah,
is?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely tiny. Some people, you can see down there, some people did get close to the band and bought standing tickets. But in a venue like that, I mean, that's only a small section of the sphere. The screens go right up above your head in this huge spherical space. Um, I wouldn't buy a ticket to go see the band because you can do that other places if you want to
Yeah.
be close to them.
Yeah.
You need to see the spectacle. That's what you're paying for. So I actually bought a seat right in the middle on the third floor.
And it's just a perfect location for that shot, isn't it? You know, it's really, really impressive.
That that was during even better than the real thing, and the screens are constantly moving down. I just like that moment where the stairs at the bottom look like they're almost going to the band.
It's incredible
Uh,
the amount of detail you've got in that.
it's yeah, I was surprised I didn't have a migraine after. There was so much visuals to take in. There's so
I would
many.
imagine it's very full on.
It is. It really is. Yeah, if you've got anything like a headache before the you need to take some pills to watch this. That's for
Go
sure.
in loaded up with Nurofen, yeah.
Yeah.
So the other award that you won was for a picture of Iggy Pop, wasn't it?
Yes. Let me see. I'll just go back. That's this one here. That
Somebody needs an iron.
oh, there's a few. That's a lot. You should see the comments when I posted this. I thought, well, maybe I have something here. I'm not sure, and I posted it on Facebook, and people either absolutely loved it or they hated it and hated how wrinkly he looked and oh, put a t-shirt on, all that
But
kind of thing.
he's an icon. He does what he does, and he's still doing it at his age. And you know,
Yeah,
more power to him. More power to him. If he's
yeah,
got
that's
it, it's
yeah. Yeah. There's some people would have smoothed him out, in Photoshop and made him look young. There's no point. Not here, not with him. It's raw. It's honest. Yeah,
Well, that's what makes the photo, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. For me, he's still behaving like he's young, and he does on stage. He's all
Yeah.
over the place, left, right. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. But yeah, I wanted to emphasize his age there. Um, there are others there, but that was my favorite one.
It's another great
Yeah,
shot.
that won the A-listers category. With the U2 one won concerts and overall People's Choice, and this one won the A-listers. So it was up against Arlene Holland, the footballer, um, and I think a few of Kate Middleton as well, and things like that. So I was really shocked about this one, really shocked.
It's
Um,
again another great photo.
so. Can you show us the one that the Marillion one that you won the award for back in
sure, that was
2021?
you see a lot here.
There is a lot in this section, yeah, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, there's
Brilliant fans.
yeah, these are all galleries. Okay, so let's see. It should have. There's supposed to be a thing with this. Maybe it's in a different section. But I could show you one of the shots. It's from the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's 2019. It's from the 2017 one.
That one there.
Finding it hard to find myself. I don't know. Yeah, this is informative for me. It must be, I mean, if I can't find it,
Was it? Is it next
readers, sorry.
one across and one down?
One across and one down.
Down, down a row. There,
There we go.
group
Thank
shot.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
This absolutely magical night. This shot was one of the leading shots in that series that won the award. This one. That I had to, I honestly, that moment I got to stand. I mean, what on earth was I doing there? I got to stand in the Royal Albert Hall stage that night. Absolutely incredible. And when that went off, um, really wanted to get a central shot that was unusual, and I knew I couldn't see the audience because of all the confetti. So I thought, what could I do here? I can't get an audience shot because usually the thing is to get the audience from the stage as well. So I thought, well, I could include the quartet. This is all going on in seconds. I thought I'll get the quartet instead, and add that instead of the audience. Although I think you can see a few happy faces in the front row. I know Mike Barton is somewhere in the front row. I don't know if you can see
Mike
him.
Barton and Nathan Page were in the front row. So yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
and Helena. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
it's a great photo. There's lots of photos from that night that you took that are brilliant. And put them together with Tim's film of the event. It's a great
Oh,
memento.
Tim's great, isn't he?
And
But like I say,
I have
when
that
you go
copy of the book. I
yeah,
can't
but
get it.
when you go through the website, you lose yourself for ages. There's
Oh,
just
thank you.
so much to see, and there's so much stuff in there. Apart from just the live stuff, there's all
Mhm.
the other stuff as well, and just yeah, well
Oh,
worth a
thank
look.
you.
Well,
And
we've
then
got you
I
this,
was
on.
just
Right,
trying
I
to
was going to
open up.
say you're going to reveal something now, aren't you? You were
I
just
was
about
just
to.
gonna. I've just found the link to the
All right.
Marillion thing. Here it is.
Oh,
I thought there was a gallery as well, but I've linked to it instead. This was the main. So yeah, that was in Leicester,
yeah.
yeah,
Recognize
and
that roof. Yeah, that's brilliant.
that wonderful. The fans arranged those finger lights, which was just fantastic. So yeah, there's various shots there, but that's the series that got the first one. But yes, you want something to reveal, you mentioned?
Well, you have a big reveal now, don't you? So you have a book coming out.
Yeah, which
What's it
again is
called,
mad.
Anne-Marie? What's it called?
Foot down, get ready, foot down, push the button.
Okay. And this will be on sale at Port Zealand?
Port Zelande for the first time, yes. And if there are any left, but well, actually, there will be some left because half of them have been delivered to the UK and half to Holland, I believe. So yeah, it'll be a sale at the conventions. And
so
then half,
how did it come about? How was the first conversation of the start of it?
um, I think that it was just mentioned as a slight possibility from the being on tour with them. Um, I think this is over a year ago now, but I think Lucy had said, "Well, you never know. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if what we'll have at the end of the tour." Um, and so I had a lot of pictures from the tour. I was having an absolute ball and photographing everything I could, and I ended up selecting about 300 pictures and sent them to Lucy. And then we got together and narrowed them down because 300 was a bit much. Um, and we narrowed them down into a book of 152 pages. And I can show you a sneak peek
Oh, yes,
here.
please.
This sneaky
I'm still
peeky.
sharing my screen, aren't I?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the first photo that's in the book. This is one of my favorite memories from the tour. Is we were all waiting around in the hotel, and the band were checking out a bit late, and so was I. So we had like an hour or two, and I just had the idea, how about we do a photo in one of your rooms? You're already all the rooms were near each other, so it was easy to do. Because that can be a challenge if people are off looking at different sites during the tour, getting everyone together. So I knew they were all together. I thought, let's do this, could be fun. And
That's a great
this was in H's room. Yeah. And I just had everyone do something different. And Mark, absolutely hilarious. This is an example of his humor. I posed everyone except Mark. Mark did that himself. So I was going from left to right saying, could you do this? Could you do this? Could you do this? And then by the time I got to Mark last, but he already had that in his head. And I just said, just keep that. That's brilliant. So that was entirely Mark's idea.
Yeah. He's not called Mad Jack for nothing, is he?
And then the president driving the bus, that was in Germany, I believe that was taken. And this is out and about. This is in a hotel also in Germany, but I think it's Cologne, the one on the left with H. We were going to go check out a Christmas market there, which ended up being closed, but we met in the hotel lobby. I was waiting and he came out, and I noticed, I wasn't planning to shoot there, but I noticed the reflection, and I said, hold it, and I got my camera out of my bag and just took that. But it wasn't supposed to be there. I hadn't planned to shoot him there. And this is Pete in Wolves. And this one, can you see the little drawings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
H has done me the honor of me drawing a few doodles for the book. They're by H. So this is just waiting around again. This hotel, they wouldn't allow us to check in early. So we had to wait 2-3 hours in the lobby. So I thought, oh, I'll just capture the reality of what tour life can sometimes be like, just waiting around. And that's Ian in the doorway. This was the very first podcast I had done. It was the first day that I joined the tour. He had asked me if I would go on his podcast.
Yeah.
And so I just captured him doing it. He set all that up himself, which I was quite impressed by. I couldn't have done that. But for 2 people, 2 mics and stuff.
Oh, they're a lot more technologically advanced than we are for a podcast. We're 2 tins and a piece of string.
That goes without saying, Craig.
Our listeners know what we're like.
But we're factually more correct.
Oh, 100%.
On balance.
Even when we're wrong,
And
100%.
And you haven't called me any names yet. When I went on this, you'll hear it on the podcast. He said to me, "Get out of my room, you hussy." Because it was done in his hotel room.
Oh, John's called me worse than that, I can tell you that for that.
We haven't sworn once. There, it's Craig's favourite.
Don Le Jardin.
Mr. Le Jardin.
He is absolutely brilliant.
Is
But
he?
he's a big star in Portugal, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant musician.
You can tell from that photo what mischief he gets up to. Look at him.
The 2 of them together definitely have a kind of spark, definitely. You can't see it because of our faces, but there is a reflection of H on the bus there. But yeah, the pair of them together, great sense of humor. And this was taken in Germany. That's not actually their truck. There was another truck that was sitting there. when we arrived, and I just loved the how the daylight was coming through and lit up the whole place. That's totally natural light, no flash.
Is it? Wow.
Um, yeah, the it was like a massive softbox. Because it was all white, it was filtering the sunlight really nicely. So I just quickly asked them to do that before they went into the venue. And then this was because the Christmas market was closed. We were just walking about and popped into a shop. I noticed the mannequins there. Um, I don't know, oh yeah, I can move it. Perfect. So yeah. With the
Yep.
sunglasses, I possibly should have got a shot of me in there too. Just the mannequin with the sunglasses.
Yeah. And notice, John, to no surprise on anybody on this podcast, in which department of the clothing store is Mr. H in? The ladies.
It's where he gets most of his clothes from, I think you'll find, yeah.
So one of these days, it's going to be like the episode of Father Ted. He's going to get caught in the lingerie section, isn't he?
Oh, I love Father Ted. The only other convention I've ever been on, apart from a Marillion convention, I went on one Father Ted convention in Ireland because the writers were going to be there. So yeah, that was an adventure.
I bet
That's
it
for
was,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Down with
had
this sort
things.
of thing.
Yeah, they had you could get baptized, for example, in a giant cup of tea. I mean,
Wow.
who comes up with this stuff?
Yes, this podcast is close, and this other podcast is far away.
Just trying to move this screen over now. Oh well. So more that's on the bus. Just a coffee break or a drink break. I can't see what everyone's drinking. Nice little drinks cabinet there, a little fridge open on the left. And Rother's waiting. That time we had to wait 2 or 3 hours. That was him through the window. This one, I would like to be able to move this. Hopefully it'll work. Yes, there we go. This is behind bars in old East Germany.
That's good.
The Leipzig, I believe.
You can tell that they trust you to allow them, to get them into these sort of poses. There's a lot of trust there.
You. Thank you. They're all really nice. I mean, honestly, I know that's the thing that maybe you're supposed to say, but honestly, they really are. And they were very patient with me as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very lucky to get to take these, that's for sure. Okay, and this is on the tour, the one on the right, that's Mark signing some stuff on the tour bus. And this is outside a hotel somewhere. Those two, great relationship, fun together. Ian, Ian had popped his head around the corner to tell me something, and I just thought he looked great. So when he was halfway down the stairs, this is the top of the tour bus stairs, actually in front of the toilet. The door on the right of Ian is the toilet. But I just thought he looked great. But then he went quickly downstairs again. I said, Ian, would you mind doing that again? And I quickly snapped him again, doing exactly the same thing. And this one in front of the bus is in Wolves, near the end of the tour, the second last date of the tour. Now this is, I should explain, you'll see some text, foot down. The book is in 3 sections to reflect Mark Kennedy's brilliant title that he came up with. Get Ready is kind of traveling, tour bus, hotels, the traveling aspect of touring. Foot down is at the venue, getting ready. And then the last section is the live stuff.
Right.
I knew I wanted it to be in 3 sections, but I was struggling with the title, and Mark Kennedy came up with that suggestion, and I just
He
thought
does
that's
have
it.
his uses sometimes. We do. We've said this for over
Just
20 years.
you
He
took
does
the
have his
words right
uses.
out of my mouth. He has his moments, doesn't he?
I was so happy when he came up with that. Especially the last one, push the button, because of pushing the button on the
Yeah.
camera. I just thought brilliant. Yeah, that was great. So yeah, this is he had no idea I'd taken this. I don't know if he knows now. I don't think he's seen this. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's just in a dressing room. I think it was Antwerp. I'm not sure. There was one venue where the dressing room was only separated by a red curtain from the hall. Everybody was in one dressing. There were other venues where there were loads of rooms. Luxembourg was quite luxurious, but this venue just had a little curtain for privacy. So I took advantage and snuck through and took that while he was reading something, I guess, and listening to music.
Yeah.
He's probably working on one of his 16 albums that he hasn't released yet.
Hopefully to come soon. And then this again, Mark being up for it. That was so much fun. I had this idea, but it was hard to get everyone or to get people at the right time. So I had to time it so the iron was cold and hadn't been turned on yet, obviously, because you don't want to do that with a hot iron. But Mark just came around the corner while Rich was setting up, and I just asked, "Would you mind doing this?" Just for a laugh, and he did it.
Yeah. I mean, to be
Um,
fair though, if Rich didn't do that to Mark Kelly like that, he'd start looking a bit like Iggy Pop just in that picture that you had that you won the award for. So
you would
that's
indeed.
Mark not coming back.
I'm not getting involved in that. That's all you're
I
doing.
think that would make anyone look like Iggy Pop now. But a funny memory about this one that was what Rich said afterwards, because after it was all done, then Rich plugged the iron in and said, "Right, Mark, you want to do that again?" Which was funny. Um, yeah, so, and then this is, I won't show the whole book, but
No, no, no.
I wanted to show you some stuff. Um, this is obviously just factual backstage clothes, showing you their stage clothes, and then H's doodles as well.
No, no. It looks like a real treasure trove for fans. It really does.
I
Um,
hope so. I hope because I'm obviously a fan myself as well.
yeah,
So I was hoping to kind of capture some of it through those sort of eyes as well as the photographer's eyes.
Oh, the
Um,
roundhouse.
yeah.
this is catching some of the crew as well at work. That's the London, yeah, the London Roundhouse. I still remember what he said on stage about that venue. Were you there?
Yes. Yeah.
He said it looked like a bombed out Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very strange venue, isn't it? If you stood on the outside of the stanchions, it's a strange view.
Yeah, it is. It is. Um, it's it's less grand. It's smaller backstage than you would think. I thought it would be quite big because of how
Yeah.
the front looks, but it's not.
Is this you?
That's
This is Utrecht, isn't it?
yes, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
just sound check.
Yeah.
This one is what the cover's from. The cover of the book. Maybe I should show you that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, so we have book. Where's the book? That's the cover photo. There we go.
That's it.
Are you able to? Oh no, you said you can't edit on the recording. I was going to say that was probably
Nope.
quite boring. You could chop
All
that.
all going out as is.
Ah.
It's great. It's great.
So this is the cover. It's from a sound and light check at the London Roundhouse.
Okay.
Jens, absolute master at work here. It just looked incredible. And I thought that would be a cover instead of actually I did think about putting the bed shot on the cover. But I went for something a bit more abstract in the end.
This is a nice cover.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
thank you.
the bed
Yeah,
shot
good
is just
choice.
one aspect of the book, isn't it? This kind of covers all of it, I think. Yeah, it's good. And it's a
Yeah.
great title, Mark. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant title. And then I stuck in Marillion on tour just to kind of show what it does, what it says on the tin, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, we wish you every success with it. We don't
Thank
need
you.
to. Fans are going to snap it up. I'm sure they are.
Oh, please do. And please, yeah, it will support the band as well because the band and I are sharing it, published it together. So please do, not just for me, but for them as well.
And if people see you in Port Zealand at an opportune moment, might you sign a book for them?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've never got to do something like this. I'd be honored. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be delighted to.
I should
Brilliant.
do what Fish doesn't charge them.
Stop it.
Does he actually? Oh,
She
goodness.
doesn't she doesn't need a knee operation yet. She's too young.
She could have
Not yet.
RSI in her fingers, for all the clicking.
Yeah, true, true.
Need
Oh,
a bionic
I'm
finger.
dreading that if that ever happens.
I'm sure a finger's cheaper than a knee. Don't know. Don't know. Maybe not. Well, look, Anne-Marie, look,
Who could say?
it's been brilliant to talk to you. What have you got a favourite era of Marillion? Or a favourite album?
Oh, yes, marbles.
Marbles, and that's because of
Marbles.
where you
Yeah,
came in, isn't it, really?
the long version of marbles. Yeah. Ocean Cloud is a masterpiece. Um, Neverland, all of that. And it was also on a personal level how I rediscovered the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite albums, and it was a very good period of time for us as well, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
a lot of dates around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
and that
yeah,
was just the time.
we
That's
haven't
it. That's
reviewed it yet because
we are doing it this year.
we're kind of saving it because it's going to be such a big one. We did a 3 episodes on Brave
Mhm.
because Brave is so important to us as well. But I think Marbles is in the same category, so we will do something later this year over about 3 or 4 episodes, I'm sure.
And you're welcome to come on, so you can wax
Absolutely,
idiotic like
absolutely,
the rest of us.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant. I'd love to. I adore that record. Yeah. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. Okay. And who else have you photographed recently then, Anne-Marie?
You probably saw on my home screen there. Um, Opeth.
Yeah, that was
That's
this week,
Mikkel.
wasn't it? Was that this week?
Not that particular shot, but I did, yeah, I photographed them in Oslo this week, and I'm going to shoot them in England a few times next week. Um, London, Birmingham, and I think Bristol as well.
Right.
But yeah, that was a photo shoot last year in Stockholm.
Yeah.
And you did the new Cirque du Soleil, didn't you, this year in the Royal Albert Hall?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did. Yeah, yeah. That's a spectacular show as well. A bit different because it's for me. It's not about feeling the music. It is a bit different, but a lot of fun to shoot. And I definitely encourage everyone to see that at that venue, particularly as well. Um, Absolutely spectacular. This year they had it done split down the middle of the venue. I'd never seen it like that. The stage split the audience in half down the floor. So there were two sides, on a kind of central stage, and they entertained both sides at the same time. Yeah, it's spectacular.
And Lucy was part of the show as well, wasn't she?
She was,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Yeah, they had with this little lady floats up in a balloon over the audience. She goes right up. I think it's 4 helium balloons carrying her. It goes right up to the top of the venue, and she's waving at people on the top floor. And then she comes down and she asks people to push her up. And she came right down to Lucy, and Lucy stood up and gave her a good shove. Got her quite high. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, look,
Excellent
it's
stuff.
it's been great to talk to you, Anne-Marie.
You too, you
You are an
too.
incredible photographer. You don't need us to tell you that. The book will be
Fantastic talent.
brilliant. We can't wait to get a copy ourselves, and I'm sure everybody listening will be snapping it up too. If you've only heard this in audio, I hope you've had enough interesting facts and discussion. If you do get a chance to see the video, please do, because you'll see the photos that we're talking about. But we just want to thank Anne-Marie for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.
Oh, you've been brilliant.
Been a pleasure.
All that remains to be said is it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
And see you in Port Zealand.
Yay!
See you.
Stop